Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first research roundup um, from the Institute for Tourism and Recreation Research. And no, we are not talking about weed killer today. We're having a gathering where we share updates and insights from our latest research projects. And we're excited to kick things off today by highlighting our agritourism project, which is currently wrapping up. The final report is up on our website, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. This project has been a collaborative effort led by Elena Bigger and me, with some fantastic support from Melissa Woodall and Hillary Faxon. And a big thank you to everyone who participated in both the survey or the interview. Connecting with you all was really a highlight of this project, so thank you. And stay tuned on our website and social media for future research roundups. We'd love to have you join us again. So Glenna, if you want to switch slides. Perfect. So I'll start with a quick overview of who we are at ITRR. I imagine a lot of you already know us. The Institute for Tourism and Recreation Research serves as the research arm for Montana's tourism and recreation industry. For the past 38 years, we've been providing the state with objective, reliable research to support public agencies and businesses. And we operate under the oversight of the Tourism Advisory Council and are funded through a small portion of the state's lodging tax. And Glenna, next slide. All right. So we launched this agritourism study in the fall of 2023. We started with 2 virtual listening sessions, which some of you may have been a part of, where we gathered input on what would be useful to producers and community leaders. And then based on this feedback, we designed a mixed method study. So we used both surveys and interviews. We wanted to be sure we captured a rich and well-rounded picture of the current landscape of agritourism in Montana. And the goal of this project was to gain a deeper understanding of agritourism in Montana, what's being offered, what motivates producers, challenges they might face, how they engage with visitors, and how agritourism has evolved over time. ITRR previously conducted 2 agritourism studies, one in 1997 and one in 2007. So a lot has changed in Montana and in the world since then. So it was time for a fresh look. Glenna, next slide. Thank you. So for the next few slides, Alina and I will just be going over some key findings from the study. So I'll start out with discussing some economic benefits of tourism that was talked about. So agritourism plays a really vital role in supporting the financial health of small to mid-sized farms. It does this by diversifying their income streams. This added revenue can be especially important for navigating challenges of traditional agriculture. Looking beyond the farm, agritourism also boosts local economies by drawing visitors to rural areas. As they spend tourism dollars at nearby businesses such as restaurants, lodging, retail, it creates a trickle-down effect, amplifying the economic impact across the whole community. And of course, it offers more than just economic value. It plays a very meaningful role in strengthening the social fabric of rural communities. So by welcoming these visitors onto farms and ranches, producers create opportunities for connection, for dialogue, and for fostering bonds within and beyond the local communities. These experiences also help educate the public about agricultural practices. It offers firsthand insight into where their food comes from and all the work that goes into producing it. And in doing so, agritourism helps bridge that gap between rural and urban populations, and can also help kind of cultivate a deeper appreciation for the people and practices behind farming and ranching, which are so important to Montana. So Alina, I will pass it over to you for the next slide. Oh, I think you're still muted.
about that. Thank you, Glenna.
Yeah.
Several challenges were mentioned both in the survey and the interviews that we conducted. And many of those challenges are, of course, known to all of you here. Liability and insurance costs definitely were the top ones. So producers, as you know, often face very high premiums and unclear coverage requirements, and just a lot of delays with bureaucracy. So this insurance and liability probably was brought up in almost every single interview that we conducted. Also, a few respondents mentioned zoning and permitting, so that's also something that currently is a challenge to be effective in agritourism operations. Other challenges included lack of knowledge, lack of resources in terms of marketing and business planning, and just not enough time, because you all know that farmers and ranchers are really busy with everything that is going on, their primary operations. So finding that time to do something extra, something in addition to their regular activities, that was brought up in also quite a few interviews. Many producers and experts that we interviewed, they expressed this desire and need for more educational resources in this regard so that they can better navigate all those complexities, mostly about liability and insurance, but also about marketing and business planning. So educational needs here, you can see, like we asked about potential workshops that will be helpful, training. So these are our top topics here: insurance, legal considerations, marketing, cash flow management, and tax planning. So that was about challenges. And Glenna, next slide, please. So we ask questions about how producers and experts see their role in kind of bigger community. And many of them mentioned that agritourism strengthens connections with communities, and many of them see themselves as the resource for their community. So producers view their operations as that shared resource that bring people together through different events that they do, and just being able to do tours for the community, provide some fresh food for the community. So that was brought up many times, that this community involvement and being that resource for the community was really important for many of them. Growth and future potential. So we asked about, okay, how producers and experts saw changes in agritourism in the last few years, and what opportunities they see. And most all of them mentioned that they've seen significant growth in agritourism. So as you can see there, it's really becoming really prevalent. We haven't talked about agritourism before much. Say 10 years ago when we did this study, this word wasn't as popular. So Montana has definitely seen this significant growth, and there's a lot more interest in local food, a lot more interest in farm-based experiences. So that was really interesting to hear from people. And opportunities for expansion include coordinated marketing efforts, also development of different attractions like farm dinners, entertainment events and weddings, and of course improved infrastructure to enhance accessibility there. So that was really interesting to see all those perspectives of like what changed and where we're moving with that. And then next slide, please. So this is just an overview of how many interviews we conducted. I'm going to talk about our methods for the interviews, and then Glenna will talk again about the survey. So in total, we conducted 21 interviews with both producers and community partners from 11 counties around Montana. So as you can see here, a lot of themes emerged. For the sake of time for this roundup, we are not going to talk about each of those themes, but our report has all the information and findings with supporting quotes about all of those. But you can see here, we asked about changes, we asked about motivations to start agritourism, agritourism benefits, agritourism barriers, visitors who are visiting and participating in various agritourism activities, risks that agritourism producers are facing, key lessons that they learned, how they see success, how they measure success. Community involvement, I already talked a little bit about that, in their future plans. So quotes that we chose for this presentation, you can see here, this is about the change. Agritourism is way more prevalent. It's common, something that people talk about, and people are familiar with the word at this point, and that wasn't the case 10 years ago. So this is really briefly, and then I'll turn it over back to Glenna to talk about the survey and final recommendations.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Alina. So I'll discuss some of the survey insights we gathered now. The map on the right shows where we received survey responses from. So a majority of respondents, about 71%, believe agritourism strengthens their ability to sustain and care for their land. Nearly half identified increased revenue and public education as key motivators for engaging in agritourism. However, many producers also face challenges. 30 to 40% pointed to marketing and managing cash flow as significant hurdles for them. Next slide, Glenna. Okay. So to ensure the long-term success and growth of agritourism in Montana, we wanted to address several key barriers and give some recommended action steps. So recommended actions include developing educational programs on legal, marketing, and financial topics, streamlining regulatory processes and improving access to capital, fostering community collaboration and unified marketing efforts, and then working with government partners to make liability insurance more clear, more accessible, and more affordable for agritourism operators. And that last point, like Alina said, is really something that came up in every single interview that we had. You can, one more slide, Glenna. Thanks. Okay, so I just wanted to end with a couple quotes that I found particularly moving. There were a lot of amazing quotes and a lot of amazing interviews, but I thought these two were really great. So food is such a healing and gathering item. It brings people together and it heals people. And so those kind of moments, I would say, are my biggest success when people are just so grateful for what we are doing, because it's not super easy work. It's a lot of hard work. And so those, I say, are the biggest success moments, when we get a customer who is as invested as we are in what we are doing. And then the final quote, we see it every day. We do it every day. We've seen people's lives be changed and have their hearts leave in a different place. So I just want to say, what you all do as producers or community members or professionals involved in agritourism is truly so, so important. And not just to Montana, but to our whole world. Glenna, last slide. Okay, so I just want to give a final thank you to everyone. Also, a shout out, there is a webinar discussing the results from the National Agritourism Survey on April 23rd at noon, if you want to check that out. And then I also put both Alina and my contact information. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you ever have questions or want to connect. And if you want to stay up to date with ITRR's latest work, be sure to follow us on our social media accounts as well.